So welcome to Jumbo Eyes and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. Now the idea behind this lecture series is very simple. Well, we want you to cover your current affairs on a daily basis, but we also want you to revise them. Revision is very important. Okay. Now, what better way to revise these current affairs than by practicing MCQs? Because MCQs would come in really handy in your prelims examination. Okay. So make this lecture series a part of your daily routine, because through this, you'll be practicing 4 to 5 MCQs on a daily basis, and these daily basis MCQs would add up to 1200 MCQs from the topic of current affairs alone. Okay. Provided that you have followed this lecture series on a daily basis. Okay. So if you follow this on a daily basis, these 4 to 5 MCQs would add up to 1200, and 1200 MCQs are more than enough as far as covering or preparing for current affairs for prelims examination is concerned. So make it a daily habit of yours, and we'll begin our session starting with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding Genome India Project. Approved in 2020, it aims for whole genome sequencing of 1 lakh Indians from distinct populations. The genome sequencing data will be stored at Indian Biological Data Center. The data generated will be open source and shared with all researchers based out of India. Okay, so Genome India Project was a project that was launched in 2020, and its aim was to select the genome or DNA of 10,000 Indians and sequence it. Okay, sequencing means that extract every information out of the DNA of these 10,000 individuals so that further research can be done in the field of pharmaceuticals. Okay, so Genome India Project involved whole genome sequencing of 10,000, not 1 lakh, 10,000 Indians from 99 distinct populations. India also has diverse set of populations. This was the purpose. Okay, so not 1 lakh, 10,000. The genome sequencing data, around 8 petabytes of data, will be stored at Indian Biological Data Center. Absolutely correct. Now, Government of India is aware of the fact that this data is sensitive. Imagine someone's genetic data is being misused and spread around the whole world, right? So, Government of India is very careful about data privacy of these 10,000 individuals. So, the data generated will not be open source. It will only be shared with select research institutions who have partnered with Department of Biotechnology. So, not all research institutions would get access to this. Only those who are collaborating with DBT, Department of Biotechnology. So, this is also false. A. Question 2. Which of the following statements are correct regarding PM-KISAN? It is a centrally sponsored scheme of giving farmers 6,000 per year in 3 equal installments directly in their bank accounts. Land-owning farmers who own up to 2 hectares of cultivable land are eligible under PM-KISAN. Identification of beneficiaries under the scheme would be the job of state UT governments. Okay, so here's the thing. PM-KISAN Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, is a yojana under which eligible farmers would get 6,000 rupees per year directly in their bank account through direct benefit transfer. Okay, and these 6,000 rupees would be transferred to their bank account in 3 equal installments of 2,000. Okay, now this scheme was launched by central government, but there are 2 types of central government schemes: centrally sponsored schemes, central sector schemes. In centrally sponsored schemes, the funding is shared between center and states. In central sector schemes, the entire funding, 100% funding, is with central government. States have no financial burden. Now, PM Kisan is a central sector scheme. Rest everything in the statement is correct, but the centrally sponsored part is wrong. It is a central sector scheme. Okay, and because of that, the statement is false. Now, which type of farmers are eligible under this? Well, land owning small and marginal farmers are covered under this. Okay, who are marginal farmers? Who own 1 to 2 hectares of land. Who are who are marginal farmers? Well, those who own less than 1 hectares of land. Who are small farmers? Who own 1 to 2 hectares of land. So only small and marginal farmers, land-owning farmers, are covered under this. So land-owning farmers who own up to 2 hectares, that includes small and marginal, are eligible. Yes. Now, who would identify these farmers so that they can receive 6,000 rupees in their bank account? That would be the job of state and UT government. So this part is correct. D, 2 and 3 only. Okay. Question number 3. Consider the following statements regarding AgriStack. It is one of the 3 components under Digital Agriculture Mission launched by government in 2024. Farmers Registry, which contains all farmer ID of the country, is one of the 3 registries under AgriStack. Farmer ID have been dynamically linked to state land records with information like demographics and ownership details. Okay. So government launched Digital Agricultural Mission last year. Okay. It has 3 components. One component is AgriStack. The other is Krishi Decision Support System. The other is Soil Profile Maps. Okay. Now, AgriStack further has 3 components. AgriStack is basically government's database which can aid farmers. Okay, digital database. So one is Farmers Registry, which will contain farm ID of all farmers. Every farmer should have a farm ID, Aadhaar-like ID. Okay. The other is geo-referencing of their villages. The other is soil health maps. Okay. Now, farm registry contains farm ID, and farm IDs are linked to the land records of state governments, so that from farm ID you can guess the ownership details of the land, you can guess the demography of a land and other information. So all these 3 statements are correct basically. Okay. B. And last, consider the following statements regarding International Hydrographic Organization. Established in 1921, it ensures that all the world's seas, oceans and navigable waters are surveyed and charted. IHO has near universal membership with its secretariat in Monaco. India has been an active member of IHO since 1955. Okay. So International Hydrographic Organization is an organization which has the responsibility of surveying and mapping all the important water bodies of the world, whether they are international water bodies, the water bodies shared between 2 countries, everything. Now, it was established in 1921, so first statement is correct. Now, as far as its member countries are concerned, its membership is concerned, only 100 countries are its members, not all countries, not universal. Okay, but yes, its secretariat is in the Principality of Monaco. So this statement is false. Now, India has been an active member of IHO since 1955. Absolutely correct. So 1 and 3 only. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And please do not forget to revise this lecture. And by revision, I mean going through the written detailed explanation of each and every MCQ discussed above. Now, you can find these written explanations from our notes, and these notes shall be shared on our Telegram platform. Now, where can you find our Telegram channel? Well, just below this video in the comment section, you'll find a link. You just have to click on that link and it will take you to our Telegram channel, from where you can download the notes for not just this lecture, but all the other lectures featuring on our YouTube channel. On that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.